Hello everyone, welcome back. My name's Jase. This channel's about our journey to become more self-sufficient, and today I'm going to plant up some herbs. Yes, I say herbs. If you're in America, they're herbs. In the UK, they're herbs. There's a H at the beginning of the word, so herbs, not herbs, but I'm going to plant them up anyway. I like to have herbs around the plot, and I don't know a lot about herbs, so everything that I tell you I have more than likely researched first to make sure that I'm doing it properly. So I've already got some herbs out in the garden. I've got two types of mint. I've got peppermint, I've got apple mint, I've got sage. I'm just looking through the window now at what I've got thyme, and I've got some parsley. So what I've also bought is some sorrel, which I'm going to put in a pot outside. The pot's quite heavy, so I'm going to do that one outside. And I bought some rosemary and some chamomile. Been to the garden centre. And I bought that's not mine, that's Julie's. That's mine. Oregano. And I bought Chicory and Tarragon. And all of these were £1.75 each. So I've spent a few quid. Oh, and if you watched me pruning the porocanthus the other day, you'll know how difficult it was for me with those old secateurs. Well, I've bought myself some new secateurs as well. So, I'm gonna get these herb plants potted up, and I think I'm going to do the rosemary first. I've just researched the rosemary, and it likes a very well draining soil, doesn't particularly want it to be too rich, and it likes a lot of sun. So if you think about where it came from, it's Mediterranean, so that would make sense. So I'm going to get a pot, get some compost, and I'm going to get some sharp sand to mix in with that to add to the drainage. So I've got my pot. I like terracotta pots. As you can see, this one's been outside with a plant in it over the winter, and this is the disadvantage with terracotta pots. You leave them outside in the winter with stuff in, the compost freezes, expands, and cracks your pots. But it'll do another season, hopefully. So, having done my research, I'm going to do a mixture of compost and sharp sand, I think, for this. And it's pretty cold tolerant from what I've just researched. It's okay down to about -5, so it'll go through the winter. I'm not worried if there's any little stones in this. Sharp sand generally does have small stones, and that's the whole point of it really, add some drainage. a bit more compost. It's always easier to mix small amounts in the pot than it is to do a lot in one go. And this is just sharp sand that you'd buy from a builder shop. There's nothing special about it at all. And we need to get a lot better at using the herbs that we grow. We always grow them, very rarely use them, but we should. So this year I'm going to have a concerted effort to try and use more of them in various ways. So this is Rosemary prostratus, and take that out of the pot. Pretty pot bound by the looks of it, very pot bound. Put that in there. I'll plant it about the same depth because I don't know any better. And then we'll put compost around it. And apparently one of the major problems this plant suffers from is water logging. So free draining. And perhaps just don't water it as much. It's always useful, I find, to know where the plants came from originally. What was their natural environment? And Mediterranean, so dryish conditions, likes a lot of sun, but when it does rain, it really rains. So when I water it, which will be not very frequent, but I will give it a lot of water. Okay, let's put the label in, and we'll do the next one. So next I think we'll do the tarragon, French tarragon this is. So the old Tinternet says if you don't have the time or space to sow indoors, you can grow Russian tarragon. Oh, this is French tarragon. Right, hang on. French. Is French tarragon winter hardy? Not fully hardy. Can be killed by cold, wet British winters. It is best grown in a container so it can be brought in to a frost-free greenhouse or similar. Okay. So what I might do is put this in a pot and then put it in the greenhouse for now until the weather warms up a bit. Okay. What are the best growing conditions? Grows best in warm, dry, well aerated soils and does not tolerate wet or saturated soils. French tarragon grows well in a neutral pH 6.5 to 7.5, but exhibits some preferences for slightly acidic soils. And I have just sown, before I start filming, I sowed some basil and what was it called now? Coriander. Yeah, basil and coriander, because I had some seeds. Lots of pot bound in this one. That actually feel pretty wet. I'm not going to water this. And they were just putting all the herbs out at the garden centre when we got there. So there we go. That's the tarragon, and that I'm going to put on this side because stuff that I put on the other side is going to go to the greenhouse. So next we'll do oregano. So it says optimum temperatures 60 to 80 Fahrenheit during the day and 50 to 60 Fahrenheit at night. So that's 15 degrees upwards in the day and it's happy, 15 to 27 and 10 to 16 at night. So that's another one that might need to go in the greenhouse for now. Does it like sun or shade? Full sun, okay. Soil. Care should be taken when watering oregano plants because they do not like to be too wet. Okay, so don't overwater. Does oregano grow well in pots? As a plant of Mediterranean origin, it needs full sun, good drainage, suffers from wet soil. Okay, and it even says put a handful of grit into the soil as you're doing it, so sharp sand. So exactly the same as the other two that we've already done. Okay, oregano. Looks pretty pot bound. Very pot bound. Yep. And a lot of time you can buy herbs really cheap in the supermarket, growing in little pots. Probably cheaper than I've paid for these. So, oregano greenhouse. So next I've got chicory, and it says they are cool weather crop. That's handy because it's pretty cool at the moment, and grow best at temperatures of 15.5 to 18.3 Celsius. That ain't much of a sort of spectrum, is it? 15.5 to 18.3. Okay. Careful variety selection is important for hot weather plantings. For baby leaf production, see the baby leaf chicory culture. Where does it grow best? An open sunny site, but will tolerate some shade in summer, and it can be grown between taller crops. That makes sense. The soil should ideally be fertile and free draining, although it will grow well in most soils. Is it winter hardy? Winter chicory can withstand extreme below freezing temperatures, especially with a little protection. Okay. Lifespan 3 to 7 years without human intervention. Okay, I think I'm just going to plant this in compost and we're going to put it outside. Apparently this is nice added to salads, and if you take the outer leaves a bit like you would with pick and come again lettuce, you can keep growing the plant and keep harvesting. So that one can go outside and it should be okay. Right, we're going to get some more compost. So now we've got chamomile. So in February, 18 to 20 degrees. The lowest temperature for chamomile is minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's pretty cold. Growing chamomile in the UK. Grows well in British soil. Not a lot of information at first glance without doing a lot more digging. Chamomile growing temperature. Can chamomile survive the winter? So perennial down to zone 4. I think they're talking about America there. Temperatures that grow best in 60 to 68. So a moderate temperature range. So I think what I'm going to do with that is put it in a pot, put it outside and see how it goes. And if it's not looking particularly happy, then I will put it in the greenhouse. So what about conditions? Growing conditions. Sunny spot, free draining soil, and it says here it's full hardy. The name comes from the Greek word earth apple, referring to its low growing habit and apple-like scent. Okay, free draining soil, full sun, and see how it gets on outside, and if it's struggling I'll put it in the greenhouse. Now I've run out of nice terracotta pots, or smallish ones anyway. Those are for my chilies, if they actually turn into chili plants, that is. I was looking in the garden centre today, chili plants were £5 I think they were. And I thought, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to see if mine actually do come on. So I'll do the same again. Compost and sharp sand. And get it planted. I think my favourite herb is basil, just because of the smell. think it smells really nice. Chamomile, there we go. So that's going to go outside, and we're going to put the Tarragon and the Oregano in the greenhouse. We've got one more to plant up, and that's outdoors. That's the Sorrel, so we're going to go do that in a pot outside. So this is the little Sorrel that I bought, again £1.75, and I did my research, and this will be happy outside, partial shade. Sorrel, if you think of wood sorrel, that grows in the woods on the forest floor. So against this wall, because behind the wall is south, so it should be a bit happier here in the shade, partial shade, and quite a large pot for it to get going in this summer. So I'm just going to fill this with compost. And the way the weather is, I don't think I need to water it. It's raining as we speak, and probably going to get a lot heavier. I think we're in for a pretty wet week, so I think that'll be fine. So there we go. Hope you like that little video, joining me learning about herbs and their environments, growing conditions, the soils, the temperatures and all of that. And it's a great thing, you know, to grow things that you've not grown before or you don't know anything about, because by researching it and actually doing it and planting it, then you're learning, you're gaining knowledge. And some of it sticks, and then some of it you can't remember the following year, you have to go back and research it again. But it's only by doing that that we learn, isn't it? So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I've enjoyed doing it, it's been a bit of fun, and I've been to a garden centre and all that, and yeah, planted some plants. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.